Most CTOs pick their project management tool based on a 15-minute demo. It looks clean, it looks powerful, but there's a hidden breaking point. Once you hit 20 engineers, the tool you chose at seed stage often becomes the very thing killing your velocity. One of these three, Linear, Jira, or Notion, will eventually create a bottleneck that slows your shipping speed to a crawl. I've audited the workflows of dozens of high-growth SaaS teams. I've seen teams migrate from Notion to Linear in a single weekend, and others get trapped in Jira hell for years. I know exactly where the friction starts and why it happens. Today, we're exposing the scale trap. We aren't just comparing features. We're analyzing how these tools handle complexity, technical debt, and team communication when the headcount actually grows. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which tool to deploy to keep your engineers shipping and your PMs sane. When you're a team of 5, any tool works. You're all in one room or one channel. Communication is instant. You don't need a system. You just need to ship. But then you hit 20 engineers. Suddenly, the tool that got you here becomes the very thing holding you back. This is the scale trap. If you're on Notion, you've probably felt it. It starts as a flexible workspace. Then it becomes a labyrinth. You spend more time organizing the board and fixing broken relations than actually writing code. It's not a project manager, it's a digital junk drawer. Then there's Jira, the industry standard. But for a high-velocity team, Jira often feels like a corporate tax. Every ticket is a chore. Every sprint feels like a bureaucratic exercise in filling out forms. Your devs start hating the tool. Velocity drops because the overhead of managing the work is now heavier than the work itself. And if you're eyeing Linear because it's fast, you have to ask, can it actually handle the complexity of 20+ people with competing priorities? Or are you just trading corporate bloat for a lack of structure? The danger isn't picking the wrong tool. It's picking a tool that scales linearly while your complexity scales exponentially. When your software becomes a bottleneck, your engineers stop focusing on the product and start focusing on the process. And that is where growth dies. So how do you avoid the scale trap? It comes down to one trade-off: flexibility versus opinion. Most teams pick the tool that feels best in a demo. But at 20 engineers, you don't need a flexible tool. You need a system that prevents chaos. Let's break down the 3 heavy hitters. Notion is the darling of the solopreneur. It's a blank canvas. At 5 people, it's magic. You have your docs, your roadmap, and your tasks in one place. But at 20 devs, Notion becomes a liability. Why? Because it's too flexible. You spend more time building the system than actually shipping code. You end up with 5 different ways to tag a bug. Your database queries slow to a crawl. Notion is a world-class wiki that pretends to be a project management tool. For a 20-person engineering team, that's a recipe for misalignment. Then we have the industry standard, Jira. If you have 500 people and a PMO office, you need Jira. But at 20 devs, it's often overkill. Jira is built for managers to track developers, not for developers to build products. You hit the complexity trap. Suddenly, you need a dedicated Jira administrator just to change a workflow status. The UI is heavy. The load times are noticeable. And the friction of moving a ticket starts to outweigh the value of tracking it. When the tool becomes the job, velocity dies. Enter Linear. Linear takes the opposite approach. It is aggressively opinionated. It doesn't ask you how you want to work. It tells you the best way to work. There are no endless custom fields, no bloated workflows, just a streamlined path from backlog to done. For a 20-person team, this is a superpower. It removes the cognitive load of administration. Linear scales because it restricts the bad habits that make Jira a nightmare and Notion a mess. It's built for speed. Keyboard shortcuts for everything. Instant search. It treats project management like a professional tool, not a corporate database. So the verdict: if your priority is documentation, keep Notion for the wiki, but get it out of your sprint. If you have massive corporate compliance needs, stick with Jira. But if you are a technical founder trying to maintain a 10x velocity as you hit 20 engineers, Linear is the only choice that doesn't create a bottleneck. So which one do you actually pick? If you're prioritizing raw shipping speed and a developer-first experience, go with Linear. It's built to get out of the way so your team can actually code. If you have a massive enterprise legacy or need granular permissioning for a 100-person org, Jira is still the gold standard for a reason. It handles the complexity that kills smaller tools. And if your project management is deeply tied to your documentation and internal wiki, Notion is your best bet. Just keep an eye on that scale trap we discussed. I've put the best links to get started with all three in the description below. Stop fighting your tools and start shipping features. Check the links, pick your stack, and I'll see you in the next one.